And so I want to keep talking more about the earth element and specifically that strength of integration, because I've, in this last month, been doing a lot of research on the five elements, and I've just kind of made a commitment to doing that, to reading books, mainly just reading books, a variety of books on the five elements. And I've read a couple, got them here actually. One, I recommend both of these. This one's Power of the Five Elements by a guy named Charles Moss. And this is really good. And he has some good language in here that I will probably use more frequently about like the positive traits of a element. He likes to call the adaptive states. So really, he talks a lot about how different elements can get under stress and they have a adaptive way of dealing with it, or they have a maladaptive way. And that's just a really, I like that language. So I'm going to use his language, but there's a lot of other good information in that book. And then if you live in Southern Oregon, this is written by a local author, an acupuncturist here. And this is awesome. And this one's more geared towards families and kids and introducing Chinese medicine to children. And it's got some cool exercises. That's really cool. It's like, how do your visions grow into reality? It's really funny, actually. I'm going to be doing a vision like this today. I hadn't thought about that. So, boop, the tongue. Fun ways for kids to get introduced. But anyway, these are both available on Amazon. So I encourage you, especially, I like to support local, right? So buy those books for more five elemental principles. But the thing that I realized in reading these books is that the information didn't always match up, like my thoughts on the different elements, like the fire element or the earth element. Sometimes they wouldn't correspond. So one author might say that this correlates to fire, where I said it correlates to metal or something else like that, but really slight differences. But I still found this tendency, or this potential really within me, which would be like kind of a maladaptive earth element response, would be just disregard it all, disregard the differences, try to kind of sink into my own point of view. And in that respect, it's cutting myself off from other viewpoints and perspectives. And obviously that's not the healthy way to go in general, right? Sometimes that's important to just kind of tune into yourself and follow your own way. But I think more often it's important to at least consider the ideas of others and making sure how they match up. So I chose to choose that perspective. And I found too, in looking at where I found the differences, they're really just a different perspective, and you could see them both ways. And by allowing myself to just consider them and think about them and have a better understanding of them and integrating them, that other positive trait of the earth element, that's the way to come to a bigger truth, a greater truth about whatever element you're reading about, or about whatever you're trying to understand in your life. And that's a big piece of the earth element too, is gaining understanding. That's actually one of every element has a spiritual gift or trait. And for the earth element, it is that introspection and insight. So I chose to integrate. And what is even more beneficial about that, and what I'm finding in my life right now, is that working with other people, talking to other people that share my interests. And even though we might think differently on a lot of stuff, or we take different approaches to it, it's actually a great step in building community and really nurturing your earth element. And that's one thing I'd encourage you to do around this time too, since we are in the middle of the earth element, is really consider like reaching out, finding new friends, making new connections, but in a way that's really resonating with the path that you're trying to follow. Like, see who else is interested in the things you're interested in, because then we feed each other and we uplift each other instead of the opposite, right? We build healthy relationships based on lifting each other up and coming to a common truth. So I talked about the integration strength of the earth element. And so we're going to go through an exercise now on that power of integration. And before we start, I just was kind of wondering why the earth element in particular has that strength. And I think it has a lot to do with the particular time of year it's in. So obviously the other seasons are easy to identify. We have the metal element starts at the autumn equinox, right? Autumn, that's easy. Spring equinox, summer solstice, winter solstice. These are all easy to identify. But the earth element, no one really knows when that starts, when it ends. There's no like clear definition of that. And so I feel like it's the earth element's job to really pull in from the autumn, those traits, and pull in from the summer and really find what that integration means. And that's how the earth element identifies itself, is, oh, pulling that in. And that's kind of how I discover who I am. And so again, at this time too, I'll encourage you in these other exercises to consider the past and the future and the ideas and information from those around you.